Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma is proud to present The Shasteen Show, live from Daddy Billy's. The Shasteen Show is brought to you in part by Southern Community Bank, the Rogers Insurance Group, and Mission Collision in Winchester. Now, here are your hosts, Scott Shasteen and Ken Keller.
It is a beautiful Monday in southern Middle Tennessee, and we are not live from Zaxby's in Tullahoma. We are live from London's in downtown Tullahoma. Along with Ken Keller, I'm Scott Shasteen. Time for another edition of the Shasteen Show. We missed you last week, but we enjoyed the holiday, and we appreciate you being back. We'll be here at London's every Monday night, 6 o'clock Monday for the Shasteen Show. Ken, have a good Memorial Day?
I did, man. Actually, we had a family-type reunion in Durant, Oklahoma. So flew to Dallas-Fort Worth, drove about an hour and a half to Durant. First time I've been in either Texas or Oklahoma, man. It was hot, hotter than blazing saddles out there. We had a really good time. Had a fish fry and a cookout, so we had a really good time, Scott, on Memorial Day.
And truthful advice from 93.9 The Duck.
All right, so we're live here at London's on this Monday night, ready for this edition of the Shasteen Show. And it's summertime. Look, there's not high school sports, not going on really, although they did sort of start back with football and that sort of thing today on the high school level. They'll go for a few weeks, and then they'll take that dead period for a couple of weeks, come back after the 4th of July, and really fall practice will begin. College sports, not a lot going on. The Baseball World Series and Softball World Series getting ready to crank up. So those teams are trying to become eligible. Tennessee Tech doing great today, leading Ole Miss 10-0 last I heard. They've got to win 2 today, I think, to advance. So we'll talk some Braves baseball. We'll talk a little bit about the NBA Finals and the NHL Finals. And then we're going to start a new feature that Ken's going to do for the next few weeks, and we're just going to call it The List. And we're going to have different subjects every week that we'll talk about a list. So today we're going to pick our favorite players from each sport. Maybe next week, we can touch on the greatest plays in Alabama football history, and then the next week we'll do the worst plays in Alabama football history, and the next week we'll do our favorite players of Alabama all time.
No, we got to give Tennessee some love in there.
We won't do all Alabama lists.
Well, Phil Fulmer was actually at UTSI today. Some Tennessee fans, notable Tennessee fans from the community, went out there and watched.
Yeah, and so did you enjoy him? How was Philip's speech?
Well, I had to work today, of course, but I'm sure he's very excited about the direction of the program. Former head coach who won a national title in '98, as you know, and had a bunch of really great players. He was a strong recruiter, and he's hoping to recapture some of that energy and winning attitude, and I think that's what Jeremy Pruitt's going to bring to the Vols. We'll find out soon.
So we seem to sort of be touring the eating establishments of Tullahoma.
Yeah.
We've moved from across the alley to Zaxby's for a couple of weeks, and now here we are at London's. What do you think about being live at London's?
I tell you what, when I walked in here today, it reminded me of Cheers, the old TV show kind of in Boston. But this is bigger than Cheers, and they were voted Tullahoma's finest hamburger for 5 years, Tullahoma finest wing for 4 years. So they got really, really good food. We came down here and talked to the owner today, checking things out, and he's really excited about what's going on with the food product here and how the community loves to eat here. Of course, he's got all kind of beverages that you want, and he's got 13 TVs here, Scott. If you want a ball game on Major League Baseball or pro football or college football, he said you come down here, bring your buddies, tell them what game you want on, they'll flip the channel for you and put it on. So I love the venue here. I love the environment really better than any of the others so far.
London's been here a long time.
Yeah.
It's been the best sports bar in Tullahoma for a long time.
Yeah, it has.
And we're just going to ride the coattails a little bit, if we can, on Monday night.
And I think Joe said it was open in like in 72 or 73, and I know your great friend Benz Jordan was a frequenter of here and probably had some of these good hamburgers down here.
Probably got his own stool still here somewhere.
Oh, I bet he does.
All right, let's do a little trivia. Yeah. What do you say?
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah,
we're going to open this hermetically sealed envelope here. If you want to get in on trivia and answer give us a call at 931-393-3500 or 393-3100. Ken, tell the folks what they can win and how they can get it.
Well, as always, Tullahoma Awards and Gifts, they've been with us from the very start here on the Shasteen Show. We've been on, since about last March is when we started our show, I believe. So 1+ years here on the Shasteen Show. This is our third venue, but we've had one sponsor give away our prizes, and that's Tullahoma Awards and Gifts, located at Northgate Mall. They do trophies, sports jerseys, baseball, football, basketball cards of all the stars, today's stars and past heroes. So tonight we have an NBA-related trivia question, and the prizes tonight are 2 sports plaques, because me and Scott's going to try to figure this out, this debate. We're going to end it once and for all tonight of who the greatest of all time is. Is it Michael Jordan or LeBron James? So we're going to find that out tonight, or maybe we won't, because my cohort here doesn't think either one of these guys is the greatest NBA player of all times. But we're thankful for Brian and Scott Palkersell at Tullahoma Awards and Gifts for donating these fine prizes weekly from their store.
Now, you've got 2 plaques in your hand. Does the winner get both?
The winner's going to get both plaques.
Both plaques.
That's right.
MJ and LeBron.
Both plaques.
All right, let's play trivia. 931-393-3500 or 393-3100. LeBron James and his Cavs face an 0-2 deficit in the 2018 NBA Finals, despite King's 51-point outburst in Game 1. Facing an 0-2 deficit back in the 2016 Finals against Golden State, LeBron James scored 41 points in Games 5 and 6 to help the Cavs become the first team in NBA history to overcome a 3-1 Finals deficit. The 3 straight elimination game wins gave Cleveland its first major sports title in 52 years since the Browns won it, led by running back number 32,
Jim Brown.
What nickname did LeBron James earn in high school? He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated coming out of high school with these words on the cover. The nickname for LeBron James when he came out of high school to head to the NBA. 931-393-3500, 393-3100. So, I don't know, Ken, the longer time passes, the further LeBron James, to me, moves up the list of the greatest players of all time. He's absolutely phenomenal. Do you think he's the greatest player of all time?
I do not. I think Michael Jordan is.
Why?
And, well, I'm going to start out. The premise of this for me is this guy's great. He's been to 8 straight finals, which is unprecedented, but he's only won 3 of them. He's 3-5. And so we're going to see if he goes 3-6. He's down 0-2. We're going to see there. But Michael Jordan was 6 for 6. And, one of the standards that we grade quarterbacks on, the greatest quarterback of all time, is how many Super Bowl wins they have. Tom Brady's won 5. Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, both 4-0. Now, it took Brady 8 to get to 5. He's 5-3.
You got to call him.
Montana and Bradshaw, 4-0. I think, first of all, I look at how many championships have they won. But not only has Michael Jordan won 6 NBA championships, Scott, he's won 6 NBA Finals MVP awards.
All right, let's go to the phones and see if we can get a winner here. Caller, what's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Libby, and I'm calling from Lynchburg.
Libby from Lynchburg, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Libby. What nickname did LeBron James earn coming out of high school?
Would that be King James?
That would not be King James. That's a good guess. That's what they call him now. But there was a cover of Sports Illustrated as he came out of high school with a nickname on it. And that's what we're looking for. Libby, we appreciate you listening in Lynchburg. Continue to research that. Feel free to call back, 931-393-3500 or 393-3100. I think Robert Ory has 7 NBA championship rings, Ken. How come he's not the greatest player of all time?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. He doesn't have 7 MVPs in the finals, though, does he? But I've got other stats to back it up. That's, to me, the first one, though, okay?
That's the first one.
That's the first criteria is how many NBA championships, how many finals MVP awards. 6 for 6 for Jordan, 3 out of 8, 3 and 5 for King James.
So you feel like an NBA Finals MVP is a big-time award?
I think it is. Yeah, because, I mean, it's, the best player on the best team. And LeBron's the best player on his team, for sure, but not in the overall because he's lost 5. That 3 and 5 record bothers me in the finals. He's lost 5 finals. Jordan was 6-0.
Don't you think that Jordan had a much better, consistent group of players with him?
Well, he was not able to recruit.
All right, let's go back to the phone.
Recruited his team.
Caller, what's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Dana from Estill Springs.
Dina from Estill Springs. Dina, what was LeBron James' nickname coming out of high school?
Well, first let me say Jordan is by far the all-time best. But LeBron's nickname was the Chosen One. The
Chosen One, Dina, absolutely. So there's a vote for MJ for the all-time best. And, Dina, you have won yourself a couple of plaques from awards and gifts. Ken, reminder again what to do now.
Yeah, Dina, thank you for listening to the Shasteen Show. Just come down to Northgate Mall tomorrow or anytime this week from 10 o'clock a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. Go see Brian or Scott, and they'll give you your 2 plaques, one of Michael Jordan and one of LeBron James, 2 of the greatest NBA players of all time.
Dina, have you ever been to London's in downtown Tullahoma?
I go to London all the time to watch my Chicago Bears.
There you go, Dina.
The Bears.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we appreciate you listening. Congratulations. Pick up those gifts, and maybe we'll see you down here on a Monday night. So Dina wins it from Estill Springs. Took 2 tries. I knew somebody'd get that one pretty quick.
You knew it. You probably got a copy of that Sports Illustrated.
I probably didn't keep a copy of LeBron Sports Illustrated. I've got a couple with Magic on the cover.
I bet you do.
Kobe. Is he in the conversation for the NBA's all-time greatest players, Magic Johnson?
I think he is.
Did he not just totally change the game?
For non-centers, let's just take the centers out of it. Take the big guys out. I've got Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Kobe. Those are 5 guys I would go with in a heartbeat. Of course, then you throw your big men in there. You got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, some of those guys.
Are you old enough? Did you ever see Julius Erving play?
Yes. Dr. J was awesome. Yeah. But I don't think he was better than he was one of the best acrobatic dunkers I ever saw. And he was very good. Dr. J was smooth. I liked him a lot. He could jump out of the gym.
So your criteria to me is strictly how many rings you got and how many NBA Finals MVPs you got.
No, that's my first one.
That's my first criteria.
Yeah, that's my first one.
And MJ wins that one. Nobody can touch that.
MJ wins that one, yeah.
Nobody can touch it.
Here's my second one. Okay, MJ won 6 MVPs in the finals, and, of course, LeBron won 3. MVP regular season, Jordan 5, LeBron 3. And I'm just comparing just these 2 players right now. Okay, scoring titles. This is a big one for me. Scoring titles. Michael Jordan 10, LeBron James 1. That's a big, big disparity right there. Now, we talk about offense. What about defense? All NBA defensive team, first team defense, Michael Jordan 9, LeBron James 5. Steals, NBA steal titles, Michael Jordan 3, LeBron James 0. Now, I know on rebounds that LeBron is going to beat Jordan, but in all these other categories, I think the edge goes to Jordan. And I've watched both of them play. LeBron's great. And, look, the supporting cast for the Bulls, was it any better than what LeBron has had? Maybe a little bit. They had one of the top 50 players in NBA history, of course, Scottie Pippen. I'll give you that. Worm was a good rebounder. But look at some other guys they had. Luke Longley, Will Perdue.
Bill Cartwright.
Yeah, Bill Cartwright. Come on, man. These guys are clodhoppers. I mean, they're not as agile as this big guy that this Larry Nance Jr. Man, that guy's he's phenomenal. He's got great upside, man. That guy's really good. But LeBron has played with some great players too. In my opinion, I cannot put LeBron over Jordan just based off this alone and the eyeball test. I can't do it.
I think LeBron's won a couple of titles with two of the greatest NBA players in the last 75 years in Dwayne Wade.
Yep.
And I think Kyrie Irving is going to be eventually one of the great players in the league, and already is, really.
Yeah. And I agree with you on that.
I cannot debate. I'm not a LeBron James fan. And I'm not particularly an NBA of today fan. I believe that it's watered down quite a bit through the rules that they set up regarding college players. I think there's a lot of players in the NBA who really shouldn't even be in the NBA. They should be playing college basketball.
Yeah.
So I have no qualms with the fact that Michael Jordan, I believe, was a better player than LeBron James. As far as all-time greats, I got to put Michael Jordan ahead of LeBron James. But I don't put either one of them ahead of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I'm going to tell you why when we come back. Driven by Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma, live downtown at London's. This is the Shasteen Show on 93.9 The Duck.
93.9 The Duck, your local radio station playing the classic hits you know and love. The Duck covers all your local high school and college sports, from the Shasteen Show on Monday nights to Alabama football on Saturdays. Spreading the word to our listeners about your local business from southern Middle Tennessee to North Alabama is what the Duck does. If you're a new business looking to grow or an established business looking to expand, the Duck has a custom plan to fit your needs. So become part of the flock with 93.9 The Duck.
Centrally located to the colleges, high schools, and middle schools it serves across southern Middle Tennessee, Sports Plus is also Tullahoma's only locally owned sports store, with brands like Under Armour, Wilson, Rawlings, Majestic Athletics, and New Era baseball caps. Owner Joe Barstad has something for all fans and athletes alike, from pro and college apparel to your favorite hometown team. Sports Plus also works with the latest uniform trends and technology. Learn more at sportsplustullahoma.com.
You're listening to The Shasteen Show, presented by Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma. Now, back to the guys, live from Daddy Billy's in Tullahoma.
Well, the intro's so good, we might as well play it again. 6:18 on a Monday night. And, again, we are not live at Zaxby's. We are live at London's in downtown Tullahoma. I expect we'll do some production this week, and next week we'll have that all worked out. Along with Ken Keller, I'm Scott Shasteen. You can join the program at 931-393-3500, 393-3100. We're talking the NBA's all-time best. And Ken has made a strong case for Michael Jordan. I cannot disagree. I believe Michael Jordan was a better basketball player than LeBron James. Now, is LeBron James more of a physical specimen? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Is LeBron James going to finish much, much, much higher in all-time assists than Michael Jordan? Absolutely. So LeBron's passed up some of those points during the course of his 16-year career by passing the basketball. He's going to finish in the top 5 all-time in assists. Yeah. And if he continues at his present pace, they'd said it last night, but they didn't say for how long. He has a really good chance of becoming the all-time leading scorer in the history of professional basketball.
Eclipsing.
But with that said, still at this time, my vote for the greatest player in the history of basketball is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won 6 NBA titles with 2 different teams. He is the all-time leading scorer in the history of the game. And he won 3 national championships as a member of the UCLA Bruins. Had freshmen been able to play basketball at the time in college, he would have won 4 NBA championships as a member of the UCLA Bruins. They changed the rules in college basketball when Kareem was at UCLA. They outlawed the dunk because nobody could stop him. That's all he did. So he learned the sky hook, and then nobody could stop him. And, oh, yeah, by the way, he won 3 state titles in New York State at Power Memorial High School when he was in high school. 3 straight state titles at Power Memorial High School in New York.
Winner, man.
So I think he's got like 12 rings the way I count it. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the single greatest basketball player in history.
I can't argue with what you said. I watched that guy play even back, remember him in 72 with the Milwaukee Bucks, shooting that skyhook. I didn't see him in college with UCLA. I guess he played for the great John Wooden, who won all those trophies there. But I had some other guys on the list that I've seen great ball players. You listed Julius Erving, but really among centers, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, and Jabbar. Those are some great players, along with, Kobe, Bird, and Magic, of course, of the 80s. And then, you got Pete Maravich, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, some of those guys. Just great basketball players. I don't know which era was the best. LeBron and Jordan could have dominated and been successful in any of those. So I'm not going to say this era is stronger than this one. But in the 80s, in the Eastern Division Conference, you were not going to go to 8 straight NBA Finals and get a free pass with the Pistons and the Celtics around and the New York Knicks around. And it just wasn't going to happen. And you're not going to come down the lane and get free dunks and not get hammered coming down the lane.
Go on YouTube and watch some video of 1980s, especially playoff games, involving the Detroit Pistons and the Bulls. I mean, Jordan was there for some of that. Jordan used to get the dog beat out of him when he would go down the lane. The Bulls, they were just they went out in the first or second round every year. Jordan was the league's leading scorer, but they could not compete with the Pistons, with the Knicks, with those teams in the 80s. They couldn't compete with them.
Yeah, you're right.
And it wasn't until they got Scottie Pippen and started adding other pieces, Derek Harper and B.J. Armstrong and so Dennis Rodman and those kind of guys, that they were able to compete. The Pistons got older. The Lakers got older. Remember that some of the teams that Jordan's Chicago Bulls faced in the NBA Finals, I mean, they weren't exactly, they were the Utah Jazz a couple of times. Well, the Jazz never won a title. Had 2 of the greatest players in Stockton and Malone, but they couldn't win a title.
Yeah.
So, era does make a big difference in this debate. The NBA in the 60s was just all about the Celtics and everybody else. Celtics and Lakers, really, they went to the finals every year. The Celtics beat them every year. Then when you got to the 80s, the Sixers won a couple of titles with Julius Erving, Moses Malone. Those guys were outstanding.
Darryl Dawkins,
Dr. Thunder, breaking
or Dr.
backboards.
Dunk. Was it Dr. Dunk or Dr. Thunder?
It was actually Dr. Thunder. But I mean, eras make a big difference. And look, LeBron James is clearly the greatest player in the NBA right now and has been for 10 years, I believe. He has taken some teams to the finals that without him, they might have been 500 teams. And this year's Cleveland Cavaliers are one of them.
Yeah. And I heard him saying in Game 2 just what you said, that he's got a chance, and the commentator said, I don't know which one it was, that he actually has a chance to eclipse Kareem Abdul-Jabbar all-time scoring, and he said he never thought he'd see that happen, and top 5 assists. But really, you look at what happened to Cleveland in that first game, and boy, did they have a blunder with that last rebound with J.R. Smith, I believe is his name, right? And but if the guy would have made the back end of the second free throw, we would not even be having this conversation. But it was kind of funny because J.R. Smith, they announced the teams before the game starts. The Game 2 at Golden State. The Golden State fans give J.R. Smith a standing ovation. He gets fouled on a three-point shot, goes to the foul line to shoot all 3 foul shots. The Golden State Warrior fans are chanting MVP, MVP. So, man, that's tough right there. So, looking at this series, down 0-2. In 2016, LeBron James faced the same exact animal. These Golden State Warriors, okay, maybe without Kevin Durant, 0-2, fell down 3-1, but became, as we talked about in our trivia question, the only team in NBA history to win the final 3 elimination games and come out and win in 7 games over Golden State. So, Scott, I'll ask you here. We got a couple minutes before the break. Is this series over? Did that blunder by J.R. Smith on that offensive rebound in the final seconds, which disallowed Golden State or Cleveland from stealing game 1 on the road, does that pretty much virtually end this series and the chances for the Cleveland Cavaliers down 0-2?
I don't think it ends the series. It would have been much more interesting had Cleveland been able to steal that game 1. But as we've seen throughout the playoffs, when NBA teams go home, they're a different team. I expect the Cavs to win by 15 points Wednesday night. Game 4 will be critical. That's one that Golden State will certainly give everything they have to try to steal that one so they can go home and win it. But I won't be a bit surprised. Now, I'm not predicting it because I think Golden State is a much, much, much better team. But I won't be surprised if Cleveland wins both these games at home and they go back to San Francisco for Game 5 tied 2-2.
2-2. Yeah. Now, I'll go to the next question. This one's even going to be more difficult. Has the NBA and the officials already determined that this series is going to go back 2-2 and that it's going to go 7 games? That's a loaded question, I know.
Yeah, that's hard to go there because you don't have any evidence. Now, social media wants to claim that the Warriors are getting all the breaks here, and there have been some calls, especially the one they changed in Game 1, the block charge between LeBron James and Kevin Durant, that you have to look at and say, man, but at the same time, I don't think that the officials and that the NBA cares who wins this series. Okay. Now, the gamblers might, but I don't think the NBA does.
So you saying it's not rigged like wrestling is?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I just wanted to get that out there because I get a lot of texts and stuff the last few days this thing's set up. And I know you have probably too.
I know, and look, TV is big money.
Yeah.
The NBA loses millions and millions of dollars for every game they don't play. So does the NBA want this every series to go to Game 7? Absolutely. Absolutely. They want this thing playing in the middle of June. And I think there's a really good chance that it will be, even though I think the Warriors are a much better team, and they really should be ashamed of themselves that they don't win all these games by 25 points.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally have 4 all-stars on the team. And Sean Livingston, to me, is one of the best bench players in the NBA. When he comes in, I don't think they lose anything. Even JaVale McGee, who started last night for the Warriors, he hit his first 5 baskets, but yet they didn't put him away till the 4th quarter. Yeah. So you got to give LeBron James a lot of credit here. Yeah. More so this year, I think, than any other year. He's played in every single game that the Cavaliers have played. That's probably up to or over 100 now. Mm-hmm. And he's still scoring 40 or 50 points, almost a triple-double every game. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But he's not the greatest all time.
And I do think that was a charge in Game 1. They reversed it.
I think it was a block. I think LeBron was moving. He was turning sideways. I think it was a block. I think they got the call right. But what they didn't get right was going back and reviewing the call, because you can't go back and review a block charge call. You can only go back and review it if there's a question whether the defender was in the circle or not. And LeBron James was 3 feet from the circle, so they didn't have any right to go back and review it. That, to me, caused a lot more controversy than the change on the call. Ken's daddy, otherwise known as Nick Saban, got stuck out on the lake in a boat. And I think Ken was there, and he's going to tell us exactly why when we come back. Driven by Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma, live downtown at London's. This is the Shasteen Show on 93.9 The Duck.
Have you heard the news? The Russell Barnett Automotive family has launched its new and improved website. That's russellbarnett.com. With over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from, then look no further than russellbarnett.com. online service appointments, customer testimonials, and vehicle history reports, this website has it all. We are the largest Middle Tennessee family-owned dealership with 5 locations to choose from. RussellBarnett.com, and why buy anywhere else?
Do you need more? More golf, hunting, or camping? More basketball, soccer, and baseball? Do you need more football? Do you just need more sports? LightTube's digital sports tier has more sports. Offering 12 additional sports channels for only $3 additional a month? What are you waiting on? Call 455-4515 and get more today.
You're listening to The Shasteen Show, presented by Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma. Now, back to the guys, live from Daddy Billy's in Tullahoma.
We are live at London's on this Monday night. It is a beautiful Monday night, too, here in southern Middle Tennessee. Just rock out.
Rock it out, man. Heard some Led Zeppelin earlier, right before we started, right? That's one of your favorites, right? Led Zeppelin?
I'm kind of prone to Led Zeppelin. That's going to be a list for the future. That's going to be a list. Okay, we're going to have a list in the future. Favorite band,
like
best lead singer of all time, best guitar player of all time, best Motown soul group of all time, best Southern rock group of all time. We can go music lists until November.
Sounds great, man.
We'll skip football season. Let's just skip it.
And just do list every week.
Welcome back to London's along with Ken Keller. I'm Scott Shasteen. Great to have you back. We appreciate you tuning in, or in this case, watching on LightTube here. You can watch the replay of this show on LightTube beginning on Wednesday at 6 o'clock on LightTube channel 23. All right, so right now it's a LightTube show.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the Braves.
Okay,
a little bit. We're a third of the way through the season, Ken.
Yeah.
And this is a team that started out pretty good. And, I mean, we were sort of like, I remember those first few days and everything. They had a walk-off their first game, you remember? Mm-hmm. Bottom of the 9th inning. They had one yesterday.
Yeah.
May have been the same guy, Charlie Culbertson. But, man, they just keep playing well.
Yeah, it's like every week I come back on the show and say, and I asked you, I said, in the month of May, they had finally got to first place. Now we're in June, they're in first place. 35-24 record, first place in the division, getting great pitching, timely hitting. And, I asked you, do they have staying power, or is this an aberration? But every show that goes by, they just took 3 out of 4 from the Nationals. And as you said,
everybody picked to win.
Oh, well, we did. Well, I brought the actual prognostication out that showed that said that the Nationals were going to beat the Braves out by 30 games.
30 games.
And, we both kind of chuckled and said, yeah, that's about right. The Nats will win 100, the Braves will win 70. But they're halfway there already, and it's not even the All-Star break. They're 35-24. And, you mentioned Charlie Culberson. He's the only Atlanta Brave in history to hit 2 game-winning home runs in their history. And this guy's done it, I think, in a week.
They've had some pretty good players.
Yeah, and Dansby Swanson hits a 9th inning home run the other day against the Nationals, against one of their top pitchers, and then they against Steven Strasburg, I believe, a 3-run homer on the inside fastball on the inside corner, and Swanson goes yard on that one. And their left-handed pitcher Sean Newcomb went 5-0 in the month of May. And he didn't give up a home run, and he had a 1.54 ERA. So this is a team that's young, that has a farm system that is absolutely loaded with pitchers like Kyle Wright, who started at Vanderbilt, who was their first-round draft choice last year, that was number 3 overall. The Braves have got staying power. And, the Major League Baseball Network saying, hey, the Atlanta Braves have a farm system that's loaded. They're going to be similar to what the Astros are now here in the next couple of years, that they're going to be great pitching staff, power hitters, score lots of runs. They're really doing that right now.
And that's exciting.
Yeah.
And they're fun to watch. I mean, you can never count them out. don't turn the channel when it gets to be the 7th inning and they're down 6-2 because you cannot count them out.
Yeah. Well, matter of fact, they had a 9-4 deficit a week or so ago, in the bottom of the ninth at home, and they came back and won that game 10-9. So
Absolutely.
You're right. Don't leave early or turn the TV off if you're watching the Braves.
6:36 on this Monday night. You're listening to the Shasteen Show live from London's in downtown Tullahoma. Ken, you like lists, and that is typical summer sports talk show fodder is lists. That's how we fill the time.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with sort of the broadest, biggest list, covering all sports, all time.
Yeah.
But now we have to clarify this. This is not the greatest player in each sport that we're naming here. This is our favorite player in each sport. Big difference.
And I know they're going to be great athletes at every one of these levels, but really what triggered this, it's been a Twitter phenomenon the last week. This took off, and it's kind of neat seeing everybody's list because, you know, we all grow up in different eras. We see different players, but we do have our favorites, and we just cling on to them. So I'm going to get your list tonight, and then if we have time, I'll read off who mine is, but I want yours first. Let's start off with the NBA. Scott Shasteen of the Shasteen Show, your favorite NBA player of all time.
It's not even close. I mean, there is a huge gap between first and everybody else. Mm-hmm. My favorite NBA player of all time is Irvin Magic Johnson.
There it is.
Michigan State University, NCAA champion, came out in 1979, led the Lakers to a championship in 80 as a rookie. Mm-hmm. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was hurt, played center, scored 42 points, 15 rebounds as a rookie.
Yeah, that one hurt me because that was against my Celtics.
Got 5 NBA championships, revolutionized the game, 6'8" point guard, just unbelievable. Yeah. Magic Johnson, my favorite NBA player. Kobe Bryant comes in at second. Obviously, I'm a Lakers guy. Kareem is third, and then you can just take a bunch of Lakers and mark them right on down the list, except for Shaq. Shaq was never one of my favorites, but guys like James Worthy, Jamal Wilkes, Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, all just great players. Jerry West was my favorite NBA player till Magic showed up.
Okay.
And then he took the title.
And that's kind of, you know, it's really hard when you start really thinking about it. Who am I going to pick? I got 3 or 4, but that did it for you. So Jerry West was your favorite until Magic came along. So Magic Johnson, his favorite.
So let's go by sport here instead of me doing all mine.
Okay.
All right. So let's go by sport. I'm a Magic Johnson guy. I know who yours is.
Yeah, mine's Larry Bird. Yeah, Larry Legend. You know, and came out the same time that Magic did, and I still remember. I believe it was the '79. Was that the '79
NCAA championship?
Indiana State versus Michigan State. Magic Johnson against Larry Bird, the most watched NCAA basketball final of all time.
It was a phenomenon the whole year.
Yeah.
People watching Magic and Larry Bird. But is it not super amazing what Larry Bird did at Indiana State?
Yeah, well, and that's what I was going to say. You know, we want to talk about the supporting cast of Michael Jordan or LeBron.
Yeah.
Go back and
anybody
look at
name one. Name one player from that team.
Yeah, you got 20 minutes to call and name one other player from that Indiana State 1979 team. But to watch Larry Bird wheel them through that tournament and get them to the finals, incredible. Totally outmatched against Michigan State, though. Okay.
Look, if my DNA did not prevent me from including a Boston Celtic on that list, Larry Bird is one of the 10 greatest players of all time. You're talking about a winner.
Yeah.
Man, you need a shot at the end of the game. Give it to Larry Bird because it's going in. And you see some of these shots that Steph Curry shoots off balance, twisting backwards, falling away, and you say, man, nobody's ever done that before. You know what? They just didn't see Larry Bird.
They just didn't see it.
Go back
he was
and watch
doing
some
of those clips, young guys.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, NBA. We go to the NFL. Scott Shasteen's favorite NFL player of all time is
Joseph William Namath, New York Jets. Super Bowl champion 1969, defeated the Baltimore Colts 16-7, guaranteed the victory.
He did.
And pulled off the victory.
Yeah. This one's easy.
Went to the University of Alabama, by the way, just to show that I can forgive. I am a forgiving person.
You are a forgiving person. Well, I know you're a forgiving person, so I'm not going to pick Peyton Manning. But I did pick another quarterback. I'm going to take Roger Staubach of the Dallas Cowboys, my favorite all-time football player. Every Christmas, I said, wrote Santa Claus a letter, hey, get me a Roger Staubach jersey, number 12. And I had Dallas Cowboy everything. Dallas Cowboy helmet, blanket, lunchbox, jerseys, everything.
I'm with you. I had the number 12 New York Jets jersey and the Jets helmet.
There you go.
And I used to wear it. I was 10 years old. I used to wear it outside with a football and fall around in the mud and stuff. I wish now I'd put it all in a nice case and saved it.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. And the greatest moment, probably the earliest moment I remember was the playoff game, 75, against the Minnesota Vikings in Minneapolis. It was frozen. It was very cold. It was spitting snow, and he threw a long Hail Mary pass, one of the first Hail Marys I ever remember, to Drew Pearson. A lot of people says Pearson pushed off. Cowboys won. They went to the Super Bowl that year as a wild card. They bludgeoned the Rams 37-7 the next game in Los Angeles, and then lost to the Steelers in the Super Bowl. But a wild card team, Roger Staubach, my favorite NFL player of all time. NCAA football, Scott, who's your favorite college football player of all time?
Well, you know, that one is really, really tough. As I thought about this, I wanted to be sure and mention some of my honorable mentions, all right, my nominees. Yeah. So I had to fight my way through 3 or 4 players here. In the early days, as a young child, Condridge Holloway was simply phenomenal. If you have not seen the Kenny Chesney produced special, The Color Orange, on one of the 4-letter networks. I'm sure you can go out and see that somewhere online. It's about Condridge Holloway, a black quarterback in 1970 at the University of Tennessee. Nobody else, including Bear Bryant, would give him an opportunity to play quarterback. Tennessee did. He was unbelievable. So Condridge Holloway was my first consideration. A little bit later, of course, Peyton Manning. You can't be a Tennessee fan and Peyton Manning not be one of your favorite all-time players. Al Wilson, who was the defensive captain of that 1998 national championship team, certainly one of my all-time players. But if I got to pick one, I'm going to go with number 54 from Cleveland, Tennessee, starting middle linebacker on the Sugar Bowl champion 1986 Tennessee Volunteers, the first Tennessee team that really jumped into the national picture. Dale Jones. Dale Jones from Cleveland, Tennessee. Go back and watch your Alabama video as Alabama's leading Tennessee, and Darrell Dickey fades back to pass. You know the play. Darrell Jones knocks it out of his hands. Tennessee recovers, beats Alabama. My favorite college football player of all time, Dale Jones.
Well, that's certainly some noble answers. You know, I went back and, you know, I looked at players from other teams. Tim Tebow most recently. I love the way the guy played the game, Florida Gators. Go back and look at Bo Jackson, certainly one of the best all-time players in the SEC history, and Herschel Walker. Those 3 are 3 icons in SEC football that I remember.
But look, none of them are going to be your favorite.
None of them are going to be my favorite.
Because they didn't wear the right color.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I'm going to be a homer here and started thinking about Alabama players. And to me, it's got to be Nick Saban's top recruit that turned it all around for Alabama. They went through disastrous coaches. In 2008, he signed Julio Jones out of Foley, Alabama, and he changed everything. So Julio Jones and the career he had playing his junior season with a broken hand, the guy just showed guts and made play after play after play. He flipped the program for Alabama back to the good old days for Alabama. So my favorite college football player of all time, Julio Jones, who wore number 8 at Alabama.
The Jones boys.
That's right,
win
the
college football prize. And it's not being a homer. Look, Ken, if anybody in London's here, and we have got a really nice crowd on a Monday night, if anybody in London's here who's a college football fan, came in and we did this list and they picked somebody who wasn't on their favorite team,
right,
I would be stunned.
Yeah.
That's college football. You're going to
right.
pick somebody from your favorite school. What's the next one?
The next one is going to be NCAA basketball. So college basketball, you get a chance now to give me another name here.
NCAA basketball will be at the top of our list when we come back. Driven by Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma, live downtown at London's. You're listening to the Shasteen Show on 93.9 The Duck.
Think there's only one way to earn a college degree? It's time to explore your alternatives at Motlow State Community College. With our diverse degree options, a variety of course formats, and convenient locations, students can customize a college experience to fit any lifestyle, budget, or schedule. There are countless ways to get the education you need. Come explore them with us at Motlow State Community College.
Here at Stan McNabb Collision Center, we work with all major insurance companies, and we get the job done right the first time, on time.
Well, I grew up in Tullahoma. We'd always done business with Stan McNabb, so when we needed collision service after a run-in with a deer, we knew to call those guys. We already had trust with them. We called Cody. He took great care of us. He kept us posted every step of the way, and we couldn't have been more pleased.
Getting your vehicle back to pre-loss condition shouldn't be a headache. So in the event of an accident, contact me, Cody Hall, at Stan McNabb Collision Center.
You're listening to The Shasteen Show, presented by Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma. Now, back to the guys, live from Daddy Billy's
Change of
in
plans.
Tullahoma.
We are live at London's in downtown Tullahoma. If you don't know where London's is, you haven't been in Tullahoma in the last 50 years or so, but if you don't know where it is, it's on Lincoln Street. It's right in the middle of town. The alley here, I think, is Wall Street maybe. I can't remember what this alley's called, but anyway, it's at the corner of Lincoln Street and the alley. That's all. You just put that in your GPS, the alley, it'll bring you right to London.
No doubt. Great food and drink here. They voted Tullahoma's finest and hamburgers for 5 years. Tullahoma's finest restaurant voted. Look at all these ribbons, these blue and gold ribbons. You know, we talked about who the greatest of all time was. Is it Michael Jordan? Is it LeBron James or somebody else? But there's no controversy about the Tullahoma best restaurant. It's London's Bar and Grill restaurant here in Tullahoma, where we're at right now.
And to quote Ali, they are the greatest.
That's it, man.
They are the greatest.
There
and we
go.
only go with winners, Ken.
We only go with winners.
We're not going with non-winners.
That's right.
Here, all right. Back to the list.
All right, we're working on our favorites list. Our favorites list, not who we think the greatest player in each sport is, but our favorite one. And so we're now to the NCAA college basketball. So is it going to be your pro player? You picked Irvin Magic Johnson. Who's your favorite college player?
Well, college basketball is oftentimes a little bit like college football in that you tend to pick people who play for your team.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with the gunner from Kentucky. Now, look, there were some great players at Tennessee. All right, it would be easy for me to pick Ernie or Bernie.
Yeah.
Okay? They're generally regarded as the two greatest players of all time, Ernie Grunfeld, Bernard King. It was a golden age of Tennessee basketball. Ray Mears, Tennessee was winning.
Oh, no doubt. Surely you're going to pick Ernie or Bernie here.
But, you know, I'm going to have to go with Chris Lofton.
Oh, Chris Lofton.
Chris
Smash
Lofton.
likes your answer there.
Chris Lofton was the greatest shooter in Tennessee history. Chris Lofton was Steph Curry before Steph Curry was Steph Curry. Chris Lofton could get a shot off from anywhere and make it. I don't know how good Tennessee was when Chris Lofton was there. Probably not very good.
Fill it up, man.
But Chris Lofton, I just loved watching Chris Lofton, my favorite all-time NCAA basketball player.
Well, that's a great answer. And you know, if I look at Alabama, great Alabama players, the players I could look at Enos Watley or Leon Douglas or Reginald King or more recently Colin Sexton, the point guard who's going to be a top 10 draft choice in the NBA lottery this year from Alabama as he leaves after one season. But I picked no Alabama players. I had some other guys on my list. When I grew up in the 70s, had a gravel basketball court in my backyard. I'd get home, I'd shoot 3-4 hours a day, go to the community center, play on Saturdays for 6 hours. I remember watching the NCAA tournament. I remember guys like Kelly Tripucka of Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I don't know if you remember him or not. Lynn Bice from the Maryland Terrapins, of course. Tragedy befell him. Some of those guys, Ralph Sampson, 7'4" center. I'd never seen a center really that big dominate the college game like him. But the first guy that I really remember who I loved watching play was a point guard or shooting guard from Kentucky. And his name was Kyle Macy from the Kentucky Wildcats. I believe he wore number 4. This guy could jack the 3-ball up. Great shooter, great foul shooter. Played for Joe B. Hall and the Kentucky Wildcats. Kyle Macy, my all-time college basketball player.
Chris Lofton went to Mason County High School in Maysville, Kentucky. Played at Tennessee from 2004, 2008. Was undrafted in the NBA. Went to Europe. Has played for multiple teams every year. Still playing, and he won the French Cup Championship in 2016 and was the French Cup Finals MVP in 2016. So
what have you done for me later? Where are these guys now?
SEC Player of the Year in 2007, Christopher Lofton.
All right, Mr. Shasteen, your favorite Major League Baseball player of all time. I think I know what you're going to say on this one. I'm going to go ahead and pencil his name in.
No question about it.
I got it.
And look, that's an easy pick when you also think it's the greatest player of all time. He's your favorite player when he's the greatest player of all time. But no question, as a Braves fan, growing up as a kid, remembering the day the Braves got to Atlanta, the first game in Atlanta, Henry Aaron was the man. He was the man for 10 years, the first 10 years there in Atlanta, 12 years, I guess. And, man,
I remember
just watch the Braves to watch the hammer.
I guess you saw it, the home run.
I did.
Was it number 714?
It was.
Yeah, remember that night. And what year was that, 73?
Actually, it was 715.
715, okay. Remember watching it and him running around the bases, and you see how mass exodus from the stands. I didn't know if he's ever going to be able to touch on plate.
There were guys from the stands
all over the place.
that picked him up at second base and followed him around.
Yeah, at second base.
Seen multiple interviews with him. He feared for his life that night. Oh, he had received multiple death threats. To break Babe Ruth's record?
Wow.
Absolutely. You remember who was pitching?
No, I don't.
Al Downing.
Al Downing. Okay.
All right.
Favorite
Henry Aaron. Nobody else really even close for me.
All right. This is a toughie. NHL.
I'll take that back. If there's one guy that's close, it would be John Smoltz. Smoltzy. Tough as nails.
I forgot to give
the
you
Bulldog.
My answer. One of many great pitchers. Oh. Okay, so in Major League Baseball, I got little Joe Morgan, the spark plug of the Big Red Machine back in the 70s. Johnny Bench at catcher, Hall of Famer, Pete Rose, George Foster, Cesar Geronimo, all these great players. Joe Morgan was a spark plug at of that team, the second baseman, 5'7", but had a huge heart. I just remember I love the little
flap that wing.
the little two flaps. The guy could hit the ball, steal bases, great on defense. He was one of the leaders of that Big Red Machine. National Hockey League, your favorite all-time player. 5 minutes to go. As we trend down our favorite list.
655.
Yes,
NHL,
indeed.
My favorite all-time player. Help me, Smash.
What about
I think Wayne Gretzky was the greatest player of all time, but that's another list. My favorite all-time player has got to be a current Nashville Predator. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't give a flip about hockey until a few years ago. So my favorite all-time player has got to be Philip Forsberg.
Okay, there you go.
My favorite all-time NHL player, Forsberg. I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's outstanding. He scored a couple of goals in this recent playoff run, and I have not watched a lot of hockey, but I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anybody do with a puck what Forsberg did with a puck. He did some things that a Michael Jordan and a Kobe Bryant and a Magic Johnson did with a basketball. Those dudes were lost looking for that puck. He had them turned around sideways, and before they knew what happened, it was in the goal.
Sure did. Okay. Golf.
But
favorite golfer of all time.
You got to have a.
I put Gretzky on my list. And, you know, I didn't watch any hockey at all, but I did watch Gretzky a little bit, so I had to put him down.
The great one.
Yeah, the great one. All right, golf. Favorite golfer of all time.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
No question about it. You know, golf is always pretty boring to me. And when Tiger came on the scene, I started watching it. I was sort of a Greg Norman fan because he was such a hard luck guy.
Yeah.
But when Tiger came on the scene, I started pulling for him. I pulled for him this weekend. He competed, he contended, and then he fell apart. And that's sort of been his MO since he came back this year. He competes and then he falls apart. It's easy, though, Tiger Woods.
Yeah, this one was hard for me. The standard answer is Jack Nicklaus. I did get his autograph at the 2000 Masters. Love the guy. He's great. I thought about other guys like Fred Couples, Ben Crenshaw. But mine was Payne Stewart. Payne Stewart killed in a tragic airplane crash at 42. Won a few majors, but those knickers and just I turned on the golf game just to see what he was wearing.
Yeah,
those knickers and that little hat he
they
used
were
to wear.
great outfits, all the colors and the teams and everything. I wish somebody else, and Ricky Fowler wears real colorful clothing and all, but I wish somebody else would pick up that mantra of wearing college colors. I think that was just awesome.
Absolutely. Okay, last one. Favorite wrestler of all time?
Jackie Fargo.
Oh, Jackie Fargo, the Fargo strut. All right, he's going to now do the Fargo strut on the air. Okay, remember the Fargo strut?
I do.
Man, that's a great answer, man. So you're going back old school. I remember watching the old NWA and Georgia Championship Wrestling back in the early 70s. Tommy Wildfire Rich, Mr. Wrestling #2, Tony Atlas, the first black. He was Mr. Universe. And when this guy came on and wrestled, and I saw him and he was introduced, Mr. Universe, Mr. America, Tony Atlas, the guy just muscles all over the place. Andre the Giant, 7'4", just huge hands when he'd strangle somebody. He would get his hands around their neck and just absolutely huge. But my favorite all-time wrestler of all time, Randy Macho Man Savage, and his girlfriend Elizabeth. I mean, I loved his interviews.
The Macho Man.
Oh, I loved it, man, with that beard, that bandana around, just swelled up, coming on the air, man, with Elizabeth. I got Randy Macho Man Savage as my all-time favorite wrestler.
Come on down to London's next Monday at 6 o'clock. We will be here. For Ken Keller, I'm Scott Shasteen. Be good to each other.
I'm working with a home buyer from Louisiana, and he asked me what type of internet access we have in Tullahoma. So I told him all about LightTube, and he said, "You're kidding me. There's fiber optics available in Tullahoma?" And I said, "Not only that, but it's great service, most reliable. You get to work with people in Tullahoma, and it's awesome." And he said, "People need to know in Tullahoma how lucky they are."
Listen up, Weekend Warriors. Builder Supply has everything you need to knock out that home improvement project. From lumber and roofing to windows, doors, trims, or stair parts, Builder Supply has it all. Repainting a couple bedrooms? Builder Supply is your authorized Ben Moore and Porter Paints retailer. In business since 1922, Builder Supply offers quality personal service and over 100 years of experience. So before you tackle your next weekend project, stop by Builder Supply, 301 Southeast Atlantic Street in Tullahoma.